Lion Pond Beats production. This is a Lion Pond Beats production. This is a Lion Pond Beats production. This is a Lion Pond Beats production.
Test, test, test. Can you hear? Yeah, there we go. How y'all doing on this lovely day? This is the Signal 27 show. We are in the community this week. We have a friendly guest of ours who comes on the show frequently, who frequents us. She has her play that's being run again. It's called The Hidden Truth. I want to introduce the one and the only Miss Sharonda Lynn, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing?
I am pretty good. How are you?
No, I'm doing just good. I know today has been pretty like a rough day. There's been traffic and everything and all of that. So how's your day been going so far?
You know, it started off good and then in the middle got a little rough, but other than that, it's good. I'm alive.
It's good.
Enough.
It's good. Yeah, man. I know it's been rough because trying to get to the studio, man, it was like a lot of traffic that was on the road, and trying to get here and be professional kind of set me back just a tad. So I want to apologize while we are definitely on air where everybody can see us. And if you are in the chat, one of the few people that are in the chat watching, go ahead and post whatever questions that you have that you want to know about the play. We're going to get into it real quick, but I also want to introduce one of the cast members as well. I would like for her to go ahead and introduce herself. Go ahead and pull the mic. It's okay. Pull the mic to you. There we go. Now go ahead and talk.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Yeah, I had to do a mic check. That's what it was. So all y'all that
Mic check 1 2.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So go ahead and introduce yourself. What's your name and what do you do?
All right. Yes, I am Latasha, aka the Real Estate Diva.
Hello.
So what I do during the day is I help people realize their dreams of homeownership. But when I'm not doing that, you can catch me on stage, as you will, on December the 3rd. In The Hidden Truth.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You make it sound like you've been doing this for so long. Your voice is just like
proper.
I know, and you was proper wasn't the word.
Professional.
I'm talking about she needed to be on the radio. Hello, I am the real estate diva. You know what I mean? So she messed around and put her stamp and branding on the Signal 27 show in the community. We just want to let you all know, if you need a house, go visit the diva. There we go. That's how you
Follow
do
me on Instagram at Jack's Real Estate Diva.
Jack's Real Estate Diva. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm glad to have you all in the studio to talk about this play that you have going on. So give us some insight. First and foremost, where did the idea of the play come from? Give us a little background story on you. Let us know something about you,
Okay, well, of course, I'm Sharonda Lynn. I've been HIV positive for 23 years. I was diagnosed at the age of 19. I am now 42. Yes, I know I look good doing it, but I'm 42.
Hello.
But, I found it having incredible victory in October of 2020. And what we do, we come up with creative ways on educating our community about HIV. HIV has a terrible, horrific stigma behind it. Also, it has been affecting our community in a tremendously awful way. So what The Hidden Truth does, it takes you on a journey on several different ways on how HIV has affected our community. Florida is now number two in the nation. Florida is number 2 in the nation. Jacksonville is fighting with Atlanta for number 2 spot in the top 10 cities. So it is very, very important that, I get this message out to African Americans and also our community, because African Americans is leading at number 1 in everything with new cases, females, we're leading, males, they're leading number 1. And, just the community as a whole, African-American community as a whole is leading the number 1. So it's very important that we get this message out. A lot of times people don't want to talk about HIV because it has a horrific stigma. They look at, how people look, but there's a difference between HIV and AIDS.
Facts.
And so we have to educate our community. That's why people don't want to go and get tested, while we're having problems with, getting people on treatment, to stay on treatment because of the horrific stigma. And so I'm just here to let you guys know that, there is life after the diagnosis. That does not mean that it's a death sentence. So I came up with The Hidden Truth. We have now 6 different walks of life, and the common denominator is HIV. And so we're going to educate the community and encourage the community to live and get healthy as a whole.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, the stigma behind it, I've seen videos in reference to people having it now, and you see the poster child for HIV, which is like Magic Johnson, right? But people be like, well, Magic Johnson has a lot of money. How is you supposed to be able to do what Magic Johnson did on what we have going on? You know, a lot of people who end up being diagnosed with it usually don't have those particular type of funds. So given now the way the prescriptions and stuff work, I've seen one young lady who had to take multiple pills every day. And it was like, yo, I couldn't, I was on a detox and I had to take close to 10 to 12 pills a day. That's 2 pills every 2 hours. And I had to do that for 20 days. And I was starting to get tired. And I'm realizing, listen, this young lady had to do this for the rest of her life at the most. So given the circumstances, how has it changed from then until now?
Well, the medication has changed tremendously. I only take 2 pills a day. I take it at night. I know exactly what you was talking about. Before I found out I was positive, my cousin, he actually died of complications of AIDS 4 days before we buried him 4 days before I found out I was HIV positive. And he was taking about maybe 31, 36 pills a day. And that was 23, 24 years ago. And so when I found out, it was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to die. That's what everybody thought. But now the medication, they have it now where you can even take 1 medication a day. Also, they have an injection that they're coming out with, that, of course, they're waiting on the insurance to approve it, where you can get an injection and you don't have to get another injection until like 6 months later. So you're taking 2 injections for the year and you can still live an undetectable life. So it has really, really changed tremendously. I think sometimes it's the not knowing that scares people. But, on medication, the doctors would actually see what cocktail best fits you. Like I was on a Trippier and I did not like a Trippier because a Trippier made me sleepy and groggy. So now I'm on Descovy and Tivicay. So it's the medication is completely different than 10, 20 years ago.
Okay.
And they also have medication now. Is PrEP, and PrEP, what it does is help negative people stay healthy and stay negative and not get positive, even if you're sleeping with a positive person that don't even know. And sometimes you're sleeping with a positive person that do know and just don't want to tell you and take their medication. So now they have Truvada and Descovy, where Truvada is for women and men and Descovy is for men, so that, we can keep our community healthy. African Americans, a lot of us don't know that.
Dealing with a lot of things that's been going on in the news today, I'm starting to realize that our people would rather just kind of be like, what do you say? Like ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? And that's like, we don't want to take control over our lives. And it's a sad stigma that we have in reference to that when it comes to us having our own schools or us taking care of our own with our own grocery stores or even with our own health. I'm starting to see a lot of us walk around. We're more obese and larger than what we have to be because we refuse to take advantage or take responsibility of what is in control of us.
Right. What's important? Your health is very important.
Exactly.
Regardless if it's HIV, if it's, obesity, high blood pressure, your health is very, very important. And, that is what's killing us. Leroy, the ignorance of the difference between HIV and the difference between AIDS. They feel like, okay, if you got HIV, you have AIDS. No, that's not true. You get AIDS because you're not taking care of yourself when you have HIV, and it goes into AIDS in an AIDS status. And so then you have to take more pills. You see the wasting syndrome where people's face is kind of like sunken in the teeth, or then you see that. So we're not even educating our community on the difference between HIV and AIDS. So if you're taking your medication when you're HIV positive, you would never get to the AIDS status. Right. But what happens is African Americans, we are the worst. I hate to say it. We don't want to go get tested, and I understand why, because of the horrific stigma and what the TV and news are showing us, but it's not like that. So the hidden truth, we are going to educate now. We're going to have a lot of emotions going on, crying, laughing, but we are definitely trying to educate our people because, Leroy, if we don't do it, who's going to help us?
There is no help if you think about it. They'll put it on the TV. I've learned this. When you start seeing medications on TV, they're not advertising to the people who need it. They're advertising to the doctors to give it to the people to sell it to the doctors. So if you have it, they're not looking to benefit you in a sense, but you have to take control of something. You see it. You see that there's a possibility that you might have it. So why go through being upset or being scared? You got to deal with stuff. And that's what I've been telling a lot of people. Listen, you just can't sleep on it. You just can't just think it's going to go away. It's not. It's going to get worse if you don't do something about it. So given the circumstances, I'm actually glad that someone has decided to take the initiative to at least put out something entertaining, because they sit up there. We have this stigma that Black people don't like to read. You know what I mean? So this stigma that Black people don't like to read make you do a play instead. So now you're being entertained while you're being educated.
Absolutely.
So I definitely like that. So Miss hold on,
Real estate diva.
I'm trying to switch it on.
Really, Leroy?
No, I'm trying to. I changed the batteries in this, and I'm trying.
We'll blame it on the battery.
Yeah, I'm pressing the button and it wasn't going. I was like, okay, well there we go. Okay, we switched it. There we go. So as far as the play goes, what part are you playing in the play that you can give us some insight on? Don't give us too much because we want them to come see the play. But what is your role in the play?
Well, in the play, I play First Lady Vicky. And Vicky believes that she is in this loving relationship with her pastor husband. And, everything that looked good on the outside, we all know that it is not really peaches and roses on the inside. So, we have our issues, just like any other married couple does. But Vicky gets a shocker, the church talk. They be like, pastor be this and pastor be that. And I be like, child, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. But, at the end of the day, it's reality. Let's just keep it real. Every single scene in the play is reality. It's what's happening today. People may not want to believe it, or they want to shut their eyes and say, just like what you said, people going to get tested and things like that. If you over here eating all this junk food and your diabetes is out of whack and you choosing not to go to the doctor and take medication, it's the same thing, in my opinion.
It's the exact same thing.
If you're out here having unprotected sex with every Joe Blow, Nancy, Kim, Melissa, Angie. Now, I don't know these people.
That's a lot of them.
You're putting yourself at risk, and people think it's a game.
Right.
I think so many people are just, at this point, I've heard idiots say, well, I'm going to die anyway, so I might as well have fun in life. Right. And I think that is just pure ignorance. And if everybody has that mindset, then, that's why we are at the top of the charts the way we are with new cases of HIV. But hopefully this play will educate people first and foremost and let them know, if you're going to be wild, at least wrap it up.
Yeah, be protected.
At least take Truvada or Descovy.
Right.
Look, something that just don't be out here trying to sleep with, men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women, and y'all thinking, because we ain't doing it this way, we can't get anything.
Right.
But people just need to educate themselves at the end of the day. We're definitely lacking on the education side. And I think it needs to start when these kids are still in elementary school. I can recall when my kids were probably like third or fourth grade and I was volunteering and the teacher was telling me they caught 2 fourth graders in the bathroom having sex. I'm like, wait a minute, 4th grade?
Yeah.
How old are you when you're in the 4th grade?
I don't know. You're not 10 yet.
Yeah.
4th grade?
Yeah, you can't be 10
You're
yet.
5 in kindergarten. Let's do it.
5 in kindergarten. Yeah, you about
So
Yeah, you about 10. So yeah,
that was a shock to me. I'm sitting up here
that's
like my baby's still playing with Barbie dolls and this
Not
girl and boy in the
anymore.
bathroom hunching.
But I think it's because excuse me. I think our society's become over sexualized. These kids know, like when I was growing up, all I cared about was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Okay.
Saturday morning superstars.
Barbie dolls, like the Brats. Like,
Right, you know what I mean.
Oh,
so I
my.
might have put my age out there. Saturday
Mine
morning
was the Pinky
superstars.
and the Brain.
Was it?
mine was Alvin and the Chipmunks on Saturday morning. Like,
Or was it?
sorry.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and get the door. But before I do so, I want to go ahead and pose a question to you both. Now, we already understand that there's a lot of individuals who are walking around with HIV. How do you feel about those who are so angry and so mad that they want to watch the world burn by giving it to people without telling them? So I want to go ahead and pose that question first to you, Tasha, and then we'll come back to you. Okay? Go ahead, Tasha.
So that's a tough one. And I think it's sad, but I think we've had this conversation once before, Sharonda, with people who just will willingly go around with that whole, if I'm going to die, then I'm taking everybody else down with me. But then let's take it a step further. If you're out here having unprotected sex and you're not asking these people, okay, have you been tested? You know, do you have any STDs or what's the new word? STI?
STI.
My bad. STIs. So they're just not asking. They're just looking for a good time at the end of the day. And then, again, that's how we're getting to where we are with all these rising cases. But, I mean, those people, I think when they are caught, and I've seen a couple cases on the news where they do go to jail and it's committed, considered a felony. But, I mean, how do you stop them beforehand? Is everybody going to have a little card that says I'm HIV negative, or is everybody going to walk around with their status for any type of STIs in their back pockets? No, because let's just be real, people don't care. And in the heat of the moment, they in the club. I ain't been in the club in a long time, but they in the club and they rubbing on each other and everybody hot and bothered. They wind up in the hotel or in the bathroom of the of the club.
I've never been in that situation.
Me
before.
neither. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one
I watch
alone.
a lot of movies.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Tyler Perry movies. So, Sharonda, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think when people walk around and get become angry, being that they found out that they're HIV, and they do have that mindset that since I have it, I'm going to give it to everybody I can and die. I think you go through a process of anger, and you go through a lot of emotions when you first found out you're HIV positive. So you go through angry, you be angry, you upset at the world, and I think at that particular time, you need somebody that has walked the walk or walking the walk. And so because a lot of times you don't have people that's honest about their situation and talking about HIV, it makes people get angry to the fact that somebody gave it to me, so I'm gonna give it to somebody else when it doesn't have to be that way. Right. And that's why, it's very, very important that you get tested early, you know your status, so you'll know where you got it from. And then, of course, if you out there, doing your thing, protect yourself. And so I know a lot of people say, well, I'm at a age where I don't want to wrap up. Well, there is medication to prevent you from getting HIV. But I've been in that situation, Leora. When I found out I was positive, I was like, shoot, who? Well, nobody know, I still look good doing this thing, and God convicted my heart. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing, to educate people on how to live a long life unapologetically prosperous and healthy, instead of giving it to people like a lot of people are doing and just dying. And so I think we have to be, first of all, honest with ourselves. Once we're honest with ourselves, then we can be honest with somebody else. And we have to be okay with saying, okay, yes, listen, I did what I did and I got it. So guess what? I'm going to go and make sure I take care of myself. A lot of time, heterosexuals feel like they can't get it because they feel like it's a homosexual disease. Mm-hmm. That's number one, that we make a screwed up conception on it's a homosexual disease. It is not a homosexual disease. It might have started with homosexuals, as people say. I don't even think that's true, but I think we might have started with homosexual, but now it's heterosexuals are leading. Mm-hmm. Our LGBTQ family is not leading. Heterosexuals are at the top of leading. African American heterosexuals, not LGBTQ. So we really have to take that out for one. And so because of that, we're ignorant to everything else. So if I get an HIV status and I'm like, okay, well, I'm heterosexual. How did that get to me? Well, that man was on a down low. He probably wasn't on a down low. He probably didn't even know, you know.
Just dealing with another person who
Yeah,
had it.
and didn't know. So I think education is the key. And I think that's when you have that moment where you're angry, you need somebody to talk to. You know, somebody that's walking the same walk you're walking. Don't look like what they have, but, you know, have HIV and doing this thing and walking this thing and living this thing right so we can help others. And I think that will prevent the anger and wanting to spread it to other people.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. What's up, Blue? I want
What
to
up?
let everybody know Blue is in the house with us. I'll pose the question to you, too, as well. But before we do, let the people know exactly like who you are, what's about you, what's going on with you, and what you got going on before we get started. Because I'm gonna do this with everybody, so we're gonna have to start the whole show over for you. So, so give us some insight about yourself, and then let us know what kind of character you are in the play.
This is the second time on. We've been talking about Hidden Truth. First time I showed up, it was Hidden Truth.
Yeah, it was
I play Guy again.
again.
Yeah.
Again.
Again. You know what I'm saying? What do we? A guy of leisure. You know what I'm saying? A pimp.
All pimp. Okay,
You know
well,
what I'm
if you-
saying? But no, I'm Bluminati. I host my own YouTube podcast called Blues House.
Blues House.
Yeah, Blues House. Been having heated debates about the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever,
We're not gonna talk about that today.
all weekend on the.
Well, I would like to get some insight on that at a later date.
No, we're not.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Nah, I know you ain't seen it yet, so I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
chill out.
You'll enjoy it. You will.
I'm gonna chill out. But no, that's what I've been doing, and just getting ready for the hidden truth play. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and y'all as the pimp that's in the play,
Mm-hmm.
how are you developing this particular character? Because I know for sure, I'm not sure in your past life if you've been pimping. If you, you know what I
The
mean?
pimping run deep, man.
It doesn't run deep.
Pimping ain't easy, but
Right.
somebody got to do
My
it.
man is pulling from like true events. I had to slap this. Never mind.
I'm trying to. It's because it's more a modern take. You know, when people think pimp, they think the
Priest
Mac and,
from-
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying, stuff like that. And nah, it's more of a modern take. Actually, it's more like I don't want to say he like some kind of, it's
Like a human trafficker,
yeah,
possibly.
on
Okay,
something,
yeah.
I was about to say like pervert. It is kind of perverted, but you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. But yeah, like human trafficking, taking advantage. I mean, I guess they all take advantage, but like really taking advantage of somebody who's mentally not prepared to deal with that situation. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
All right, and how
Low
you
self-esteem, stuff like that.
now? And how does that work with you, like personally? Because I know there are certain roles that can like affect you, really. You know what I mean? So I had to play a pimp too, and a play that I had done before, and having to be like nasty when I'm not that particular type
Yeah.
of person, kind of made me withdraw like a couple of days just to get my mind and stuff together. So how are you taking it on, having to play a position of
He a pro.
Yeah, I try not to Heath Ledger it, but you know what I'm saying. Nah, I don't have no issues as long as who I'm in the role with. You know what I'm saying. As long as I don't cross no boundaries with that person, I'm taking
cool.
it to the edge. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying. To the
All
best of
right.
my
He do.
ability, anyway. So
all right.
And you do it well.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Ain't no
don't mind
complaints.
a pimp.
Ain't no complaints from the acting, the directors of the play. So it ain't no complaints. So, but the question I posed to the two young ladies that's on the panel was, when individuals have been given the diagnosis of AIDS and they have this anger that's in them, so they want to watch the world burn by giving it to somebody else. How do you feel about that particular situation and what them people might be going through? So what are your thoughts on that?
It's actually, it's hard, and I think every individual, you know what I'm saying, takes it differently. So you know what I'm saying. Some people might be strong with it, might be able to not go that route of burning, wanting to burn the world down, and what it was a couple years back they had the female here who was doing that.
Yeah, I believe so.
And I mean, I don't know that mind state. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that like they're wrong for thinking that way, but you know what I'm saying? Seek help first before you turn into vengeance. Let me go get revenge. You know what I'm saying? Let me like you say, burn it all down. Go seek help. Go get the counseling that you need. Go get the treatment. Go get everything else. And sleep on it. You know what I'm saying? You might wake up tomorrow with a whole different mindset after getting all of the proper information that you need. So, but yeah, I don't want to judge nobody for having that thought process, because I'm pretty sure, especially something when you don't have the, you know what I'm saying, like HIV, that was, you know, demonized. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, if I got a death sentence, everybody else finna get a death sentence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how I look at it. I don't, you know what I'm saying, try not to put the judgment on that person. I try to empathize, but at the same time, nah.
Okay.
Leroy, I think they go into a temporary insanity for a minute, you know.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, because I went into a temporary insanity. I was sleeping in my closet. I tried to kill myself. It didn't work because I'm still here. But about 3 times. I think it's you go into a temporary insanity, and some people don't ever come out of it, you know, because of the horrific stigma behind HIV, behind AIDS, you know. And if you know the difference, you know, it takes you a minute before you get to AIDS status. But African Americans, a lot of us don't want to read, and so they don't understand. They go with what the mama them said, granny them said, or what we seen 20 years ago. Yeah. But it's not like that. And so I think when you get educated, your mindsetting change. You know, because I thought I was going to die too. You talking about 4 days after we buried my cousin from complication of AIDS. And my family was like, especially my mom, she was like, oh yeah, you know, she thought I was going to die. And she kind of pushed away from me. That was temporary insanity. While I was trying to raise a 1-year-old daughter, figure out what I was going to do with my life. And then all of a sudden I get this at the age of, 18, 19? So still trying to finish high school? And raise a 1, that's a lot. And so I know at the age of 19, when I found out, I went through a temporary insanity. I had to literally, I remember telling my mom, like, something is going on with my mind. I don't want to live. I was sleeping in my closet. And she, you know, of course, back then, you know, everybody blamed things on the devil and that, you know, you have to pray. And it's not, it was a mental, it's like I kind of just left my body for a minute. And I had to really go and talk to somebody. I had to go sit on a counselor couch and say, hey man, you know, I want to kill myself. And I think you go into a temporary insanity. You go into a mental, like a mental block, mental
psychosis.
Yeah. It's like you're just living. You're walking, your body is visible, but your mind is gone.
And I can kind of not relate per se, but have more of an understanding. When you say temporary insanity, I've heard individuals who had like lovers quarrels. You know what I'm saying? They've been so deep in love, or they've been imprinted by this man, and they love this man so much. When they find out that man is not doing them wrong, they go into a brief like love blindness, and they end up killing the one that they love. You know what I mean?
That's why they call it a crime of passion.
Right, crime of passion. You know what I mean? Because they're not in their right mind at that particular time. You know what I mean? So I can definitely understand that, especially when you get news about illness that has so far, based off of what you know, and have been taking the lives of the individuals who has it. So what else are you really supposed to think about, really?
Right.
That's like individuals now. A friend of mine said that his mom ended up passing away due to cancer, but she didn't know she had cancer. But it's when she ended up getting the diagnosis that when it started getting you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like that. But you know, given what they say, what the guy from Spider-Man said, too much is given, much is required.
Much is required.
You know what I mean? So I believe that individuals such as yourself are like chosen because you have that particular ability to overcome that, but to be able to get the word out to those who are going through it, who are not as strong as you are. You know what I mean? So you're on a path that you're doing something that no one else is doing, and if they are doing it, of course, it's not going to be as good as this. So
not at all.
No, you know what I mean? So, but it's all about sharing the awareness. So now, as far as the play, this is the second time that you all are doing the play. Where is it going to be at? Give us some insight about the different parts of the play that you can, just to give the people some to intrigue the people that want to come and get more information about what you got going on?
Well, I promise you guys, when you guys come, I promise you don't want to miss it. We're having it at FSCJ, the Kent Campus, the Auditorium F-128.
That's my alma mater.
Oh, okay.
What, FSCJ is your alma mater? I think if I went there, does that mean that's my alma mater too?
Did you graduate?
No, I just went there to do
Well, it's not
Just
your-
went there.
Yeah, but I got certified.
You just
Then
went
I
there.
guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's my alma mater.
Okay, well, kudos to FSCJ. I have been having some amazing people helping me. Angela, she works at FSCJ. We have Gilead that is sponsoring some of the play. So it is very, I think with coming out and telling your story, we have 6 different walk of life where we're dealing with our youth, because our youth in high school is high in HIV cases. We're dealing with our college student who may be LGBTQ. We're dealing with our LGBTQ family and their and how the older people look at our LGBTQ family because they don't understand. So we're also dealing with that. We're dealing with our biracial couple, how, African Americans, we always blame stuff on the devil when it comes to mental illness, but a lot of Caucasian will go and get help for everything. So we're dealing with that and how that affects the family. We're dealing with our senior citizens. We added a new scene with our senior citizens because, baby, listen, our seniors,
funny.
wait, they are getting busy in these senior living homes,
Elderly off the chain.
And I can understand. Yeah, I was
Yes,
talking
So I can understand.
we talked about that before the show, but we're getting the education out to our senior citizens because they feel like, okay, well, I can't get pregnant anymore. I done went through menopause, and
get it in.
Oh, and they getting it in, and so they are getting high.
I'm sorry to laugh. I'm sorry to laugh. It's just that you would not think that the elderly, because the conversation that me and Sharonda was having was in reference
Furnace
to
is
my
still
aunt.
burning.
Right, but my aunt, who was in a senior living facility, got caught by her brother. Yeah,
Got what?
got caught by her brother.
Okay.
Which is my dad. So my dad is going to visit his sister, and she is getting getting work.
First of all, he should have knocked on the door.
Wait,
first.
hold on. Wait. What?
Yeah, she getting worked is what happening.
He knocked on, you don't enter no adult's room now. You knock on the door.
But you wouldn't be expecting for that to be happening to you. You're like, well, I can just imagine his face. He like, Sally. What is you doing?
Let me just shut the door back.
I don't even.
But they getting busy. I mean, they taking a little blue pill or whatever. Stella got her groove back. I don't know, but
But think about it. You've had somebody who's been married for 30, 40, 50,
Yes.
60 years. Now they're in a living facility.
Husband
and
probably gone,
Sally's
wife
lonely, and here come Mr. John, and Mr. John looking good, and Sally like, hey, listen, what we got to lose?
me and
Hey,
Mr.
Sally.
Jones got a thing going on,
Right. I can just imagine
Can't
that.
be mad at him.
yeah,
Hey,
and then
Sally, would
then,
you
you
like
know-
my fruit cup?
right. I'll give you my. Oh, so it's so funny to see you living, because I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. So then we have our pastor couple, the church. We have, we're just the first lady is real estate diva. So we have that, and the pastor.
Off the chain.
I'm just gonna say, and so, but what's going on in the play is real life stuff. Like there's somebody that has dealt with our youth, so Blue as the pimp, he's, dealing around with one of the youth, but this is what's happening. And, he also deal with, one of the ladies in the, in another scene. So, but this is what's happening. We don't take the time out to educate, but everybody is having sex, and hey, do you, but when you're doing you, just be mindful of being educated. So in all of that, we're going to educate with, it's going to be some people that's going to cry, some people going to say, hey, kill him.
Get him out of here. Who is that?
That part.
Right. And when I tell you the cast members are amazing, I definitely want to say this. 99% of the cast members are negative. And 1% that's positive is me. And so they have learned what antiretroviral treatment is. They have learned what undetectable is, viral load, CD4 count, all of that. They have learned this, and they're not positive. Mm-hmm. So that speaks value there to get educated, to be able to present this play so effectively that a positive person like me, was tearing up just to see how all the cast members are negative. And I mean, when I tell you in practice, they doing a thing. So I can only imagine come December the 3rd.
No, my thing is that me having more of an open mind about it. In the beginning, before you and I even met, I had a closed mind. I never really had to deal with anybody who had been diagnosed with HIV or AIDS. I didn't. So I really never had the intuition of just like, okay, I'm just going to go study and look up on it. You know what I mean? Because I really never had to deal with it. You know what I mean? But the fact that there was somebody that was in my life who has gone through it, was willing to educate me on it, cleared my mind about certain concepts I had about HIV and AIDS. Because I thought honestly it was. I thought it was a death sentence. I thought it was like, listen, you got to be careful out there, because if you catch AIDS, it's just like Ebola. You're going to fall apart. You know what I mean?
It's that ninja.
Yeah, you gone. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, and if you do got it, you're going to be on pills for like a long time. And and me having a young daughter, I just try to educate her. Listen, I know you probably got that flaming burning going on with yourself. Listen, you got kids? You got kids, Blue? Yeah. How old are you? Got any girls?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. This was gonna happen.
No, my daughter 21. About to be 21.
Oh, so she already out.
She already through it.
So I'm just the way you just, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah. No, because I mean, I'm the type of father that I don't sugarcoat nothing. Yeah. I have full grown conversations. I was like, listen, you can go out there and put that thing out there in the street if you want to now. But I'm just letting you know that the streets might not treat you the way you want them to now. That's all I'm saying.
And that's true.
So let's be real clear. Now, if you go out there and you come back with something, if I had this mindset where I did not meet you, I would probably give her some like vile information. Like, well,
that's it.
Yeah.
You're going to die in 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, well, listen.
Here's a shovel. Might as well start digging.
Yeah. Here goes some orange juice. Maybe this might help get some vitamin C. I didn't know, but now I know if something was to happen or something was to come up with not just my daughter, but with anybody that's in my that are young people who might not do the research on it, I can be like, well, no, listen, don't worry about it. As of right now, there are things that you're going to have to put in work, and you're going to have to do some things consistently with you being a young person that you might not be able to, like, you wouldn't be normally doing as a young person, because, some young people don't do things on a regular basis, but this is going to be a ritual that's part of your life from this point forward. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I got that education. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Now, for the rest of your life, taking pills for the rest of your life to stay healthy. So yeah, you're right. I think we definitely have to educate our children, but we also have to educate our older generation as well, because to
get rid of the ignorance.
To get rid of the ignorance, because being that your son or your daughter come and tell you, hey, I'm HIV positive, the first thing you're gonna, if you're ignorant, oh, get out of my house. Yep. We eat after you, we sleep. We take a bath after you. And that's ignorant. I had a case where I've been married and it was told, hey, wash the tub out with bleach. You know what you got. And it's like,
why you married to the person?
No, it wasn't me.
Those are fighting words.
No, really. We were married, but it was said to him, and I was like, oh my God, are you serious? but it's ignorance. And you know, and we can't charge our older people if we're not willing to educate our older people. And our older people are able to get a different mindset, even when it comes to LGBTQ, get a different mindset. Just because somebody is not like you don't mean that they're going to hell. Just because somebody is not like you doesn't mean that you have the right to criticize them. You did some stuff in your old days too, you know. You dropped it like it's hot. It's just now you can't drop it as hot because your knees is bad. You know, you can't get back up. But you did stuff. And who was that? Did somebody criticize you? You know? And so I think we have to educate our older generation so they can understand, so people will be able to say, hey, mom, dad, hey, this is what's going on with me, and not be scared because of what's getting ready to come out their mouth after they tell.
Okay. So as far as you both go, Blue and Tasha, have y'all had any dealings with anyone like personally that has HIV or AIDS?
Yeah, I had a family member.
Okay.
Who had it. He passed a while ago. That was, you know, back when all of the information went out, and he was he had, I forgot what drug they was giving, but it was basically not the, you know what I'm saying, it was some was it somebody in high school who had it? Like I don't want to say that the stigma started fading, but more you know what I'm saying, more people were more open with their statuses as, you know what I'm saying, as time progressed. Because I remember, you know, being young, late 80s, early 90s, hearing about it. And like you said, that was that ninja, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, that stigma stayed with it, but more people was like, was living with it. That's what I should say. More people was living with it. So, but y'all had a family member.
Okay. How about you, Tosh?
Nobody personally, family or anything like that, but classmates who have passed on, and then, you know, afterwards it came out that, you know, they were HIV positive or they had full-blown AIDS. Do I know for sure? No, but, you know, people kind of talk, and over time, and you would see somebody and you look like, okay, a year ago you were like up, and now you look like you haven't eaten in a year. So you kind of make that assumption about people. But no.
And why do we always go to that, though, when they look fresh?
I don't know. That's
like,
the
That's
first
the
stop
first
because,
thing.
you know, we
that's
always
what
go
you're
to that, like,
growing up. That's what it was. It's like you
Come
would
to
see
find out
somebody
he got
who
cancer.
was-
He got cancer.
right, but that's pretty much what it was.
Then we get the whisper, hey, you know, such and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the education is because before I met Sharonda, you know, I was like you kind of knew a little bit about it, but you never really divulged into it to actually learn about it, because it was a
Exactly.
whole like, oh, you don't sit on the toilet, you know, kind of just like you said,
Don't
ignorance.
eat after them.
Then you
Don't.
think about it like, okay, it's the toilet, it's the air, you know, or you can't eat after that person or drink after that person.
You can't even breathe the same air.
Right. So it's the lack of education.
Plug your
But-
nose around your cousin, okay?
But you know what? I think, to me, and Sharonda may agree, so with all the education and these commercials that are saying you can now live a undetectable life and not pass it on, I wonder how many people at this point are you like, you know what? I'm not going to use any protection because I can go take Truvada or PrEP and still live.
You think it
Right.
had a negative effect?
I mean, I don't know if there's any research
Well-
out there for that, but
Well, there are, you know, there is getting to the point where, because HIV is no longer a death sentence, they're trying to remove that from people going to jail, because it's like somebody having gonorrhea or herpes or, you know, or syphilis, and that's syphilis is probably worse, you know, but it's like that. You don't really have to tell people what's going on with you now that I'm undetectable, because it is true. Undetectable does mean equals untransmittable. And I'm a living witness of that. So I believe that. I believe that people saying, hey, you know, I ain't gonna say anything because I'm undetectable and I can't pass it. But just to me, just the worrying in the back of your mind, that would eat me alive. Yeah, maybe because I'm brutally honest.
but not anybody else in the heat of the moment. This, you know, he like, oh girl, you look good. Let's, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, oh well, yeah. If she get it, she can go and take one of these medications and she'll be all right.
But let me tell you what a college student did. I don't know who college.
He's dropping out Truvada. There you go.
They did it where this college student need to be rich. I mean, he did, it's called 211 in college, and so before they do these little parties, they hand out this Truvada or Descovy 211. So you take 2 before everything happens, and then you take 1 after, or something like that. And these college students are still winding up negative, So,
Well, let me ask you, because what you saying that, is that a bad practice?
What's a bad practice?
What you just said, the college student, because it might not be the 100% full, let's protect all, but it is them saying, hey, it's some things that might go down here, this, this college campus.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and hand this out before the jump off, and then as y'all walking out the door,
Here's your other pill.
here go your booster shot.
Right.
But that's kind of similar to, I guess, like the morning after pill. Then,
Yeah.
if you
Right.
Get pregnant.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
just you're using it as a just in case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because you're taking responsibility.
Ability,
for
and
it.
that's what I'm saying.
Right. I
So-
think, me too. I don't think, hey, I mean, if you know you finna get down, you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, some of y'all been to college, y'all don't know. It gets wild in there, I heard. So, I heard. So I'd rather for our youth to take responsibility.
Fact.
And hey, if you passing out 211s, hey, partner, give me 1. Give me 3. So whatever. I would rather for them to take
That
ownership and their
precaution.
precaution than to go in there and say, well, and feel like, oh, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And then you come back and you're HIV positive. Well, you could have taken precaution. That's like me not taking my medication and knowing if I stop taking my medication, I'm going to become detectable. And if I continue to stop taking my medicine, I will go into AIDS status. So I would rather take precaution first because I don't want to die. And as good as I look, I can say so myself. I don't need no audit. I don't need no. I think so. But
I was gonna
I
say
don't.
round 2, but I might get in trouble.
Hey, but
Round.
but I don't want to look like I'm sick. I don't. I mean, I don't want to look in the mirror and I have the wasting syndrome. No, I want to be 99 looking like my grandmother and she was pretty at 98, before, I don't want to look sick. So guess what? I'm going to take precaution. And I think all of us should do that. I can't trust you. I don't know what you have.
That's
Facts.
You can tell me all day, hey, baby, I don't got nothing, But guess what? You don't look like what's going on because I don't look like what's going on in my body.
Right.
So you
and
think I'm
condoms
finna...
ain't 100%.
That's and that's
break.
true.
So there you go.
So I'd rather, hey, pop me one of them Travadas. Let me, So
Is
Possibly one of them
the
Travadas.
is the AIDS actually also reversible now? Because you went from undetectable to detectable to AIDS. Can it go reverse if you take the right medication to become undetectable?
well, this is the key. A person is in AIDS status can still be undetectable, but they cannot go back to HIV. So you can still have a AIDS diagnosis and still be undetectable, because what happens is the medication, it puts a halt to the progression of the virus. So even if I'm in AIDS status, I can still be undetectable. I just cannot go back to being HIV because my CD4 count is from 200 and lower. So that's where they distinct if you're HIV positive or if you're in AIDS status, because your T cells is not enough to fight off a common cold. But you can be in AIDS status and still be undetectable, yes, and still not pass the virus.
And the CD4 count is the actual count of the virus itself.
The T cells in your body that
T
fights
cells.
off, common colds,
Okay.
The virus is, of course, HIV or AIDS. So, there's been, I know one guy that had 1 million copies in a virus in 1 drop of blood, AIDS status. Got on medication, was still in AIDS status, was undetectable.
So how does that happen if you have that million and if you have that many count in your blood and then you
Medication.
become undetectable? Like
Medication, what happens? The virus, the medications put a halt to the virus.
okay.
So you can still be you can still have an AIDS diagnosis and still be undetectable because the
They stop
medication
it from replicating.
it stop it from it's put a halt to the virus
Okay.
where it won't no longer be detectable in your body, in your bloodstreams.
And then because to my understanding, your T cells don't have a way to fight off the AIDS virus. Is that right?
Right.
So the more that it replicates, it's there now. It's not going nowhere unless you take something where it can actually kill off the actual virus. If I'm understanding correctly, right?
Well, I will always be HIV positive. A person that has AIDS will always be, in AIDS status.
Does it change the DNA? Is that what it?
It just put the virus. It kind of like hides the virus. Like I'm undetectable, so the virus is kind of I would say hiding behind something. It's not replicating. It's not being killing up my T cells.
It's just in the corner.
Just
It's
dormant.
it's laying dormant.
Okay.
It's
See,
putting
and
a halt to
that's
it.
where I was trying to figure out because the T cells don't have the ability to fight off the actual virus. The virus consumes
The T cells, right?
So
The medication stops the virus from consuming
the
the
T
T cells.
cells, which would give your T cells the ability to start building back up in your body,
Absolutely.
so you can live. Okay,
Right.
now that makes
That's
sense.
right.
Okay,
And it's so funny because even if you come over, you have more T cells. Say for instance, I go to an AIDS diagnosis. Okay, I'ma always have the diagnosis, but even if my T cells go over 200, I will still never go back to HIV status because just like that, I can get a cold and it turns into PCP pneumonia. And now, how my T cells are building up. Okay, now I just got knocked back down by PCP pneumonia or a cold. So that's why they don't, because you don't have enough T cells
your immune
to fight off even a common cold when you're AIDS status. So that's why they still keep that as AIDS status because anything can happen.
okay,
Yeah.
well, that makes
But you can
sense
be
now.
undetectable. Yes, you can. You can definitely be undetectable in AIDS status.
Okay, well, see, I learned something new. I didn't know that. I'm glad I asked the question. So, all right. With that being said, we know that the play is going to be on December 3rd, correct?
Yes, December
Okay,
3rd.
December 3rd. What time is it going to be?
6 to 8, 6 p.m. to 8.
6 p.m. to
long
8
time.
p.m.
So dang, that's a long time.
Well, I mean, no, that's not compared to the other plays we've been in.
That is true. I've been in some places that's
part.
been a minute. Yeah, it take a long time. A lot of lines too. You know?
They be flying by. When you on that stage,
And having fun. And and the people you work with too. Like, we've been down for about a year now. And so, I mean, we have fussed at each other. We have yelled at each other. And I have. We have got on each other's nerves.
Laugh, cry.
And cry. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, shoot, you must was up under some type of pressure. But
Right.
when you're working with good people, good, genuine people, that time go by so quick.
yeah.
We're
you
a
know.
family. At this point, we are
Family.
a true family. Like,
Yeah, well, I've worked with all three of y'all before, so I already know how the stage works. And when you, what's the saddest part about it that you work with somebody or work with a group of people for so long and then it ends.
Yeah.
and that's where it kind of be like, well, man,
what am I going to do on my Sunday now? Like,
Right. But you know what?
so-
I'm going to tell you about Leroy. Leroy was supposed to be the police officer, so I had to switch the script.
Oh, she's gonna bring that up.
don't bring that up again.
Because Leroy should have been still in the family.
Right.
But
still in the family.
He's
You
still
a
in the
distant cousin.
a long lost cousin.
No. I don't know what occurred during that situation because I was like, you know what?
No, you had you did a comedy show somewhere.
But it was, it was either that or no, we didn't double up because
You just kicked us to the curb.
no, that wasn't it. Cause
He didn't want to drive way where I stayed 53 minutes away.
No, that wouldn't be it because I always try to keep my word. Anything I do, I keep my word. If something had caused me, I always try to whatever I made my decision to do, it always take precedence.
Yeah, he was so sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I
were.
did.
I
And then
was
I
just
was
kidding.
no, but and then what I did was like, well, listen, I can't do it, but I know another actor who would fit really good, and she was like, okay. And then after that, I was like, well, David, did she call you? So I was like, she's like, no, she didn't. I was like, well, I guess she didn't want you to.
It was so hard to replace you, so it's just like we just gonna go in a different
Well,
direction.
yeah, we just took it out because it was just kind of hard to replace. Yeah, so
Such greatness.
No, stop it! You're making me turn.
you so
purple.
amazing. You was great in Hetero's closet. You were just so amazing. So I wanted you to be the police officer.
It wasn't the same without you, Leroy.
Oh, you see, y'all pumping my head up now. Y'all go on and leave me alone.
You were irreplaceable.
Oh, You about to make me cry.
Oh, okay, we don't want to feed him all that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then his head will swell.
Yeah, it'll be bigger than what it is. Stretch out this bad hairline I got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in closing, y'all want to go ahead and plug anything that y'all got going on that's coming up? We'll start with you, Blue.
Hidden Truth, man. December 3rd. That's the only thing that really need to be plugged right now. December 3rd. Hidden Truth. FSCJ.
Make sure y'all get y'all tickets. Where can they get the tickets at?
They can actually go on the website. I have it. It's a link that you have to go on. So you have to go to my Facebook, and you'll see the event on Facebook, and you can hit that link and go ahead and register, because I believe it's going to be packed. I think we educated 350 people last year. That's right. So I'm looking for people to be on the wall, standing on the wall.
That's
to,
right.
350.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
Standing room on.
But yes, just go to, if you have Facebook, you can go to event, and you will see my beautiful face, the Hidden Truth, and you can hit that link and you can register there. So what we're trying to do, Leroy, we were asking people to come with a $10 and up toy so we can give back to the less fortunate children. So if you want to just come on December 3rd and bring your toy, then that'll be great as well. Okay. Because we definitely want to give back to our children for Christmas.
All right. And for all of those who are watching and who are going to be listening to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Pandora, you can go to the Signal 27 page. I will be posting the link to get tickets to the play. So that way that you'll be able to go ahead and get started if you're in Jacksonville. And if you are in Jacksonville, make sure that you like, comment, and share, because, of course, we're doing things in the community. I want to thank everybody for coming through. I didn't ask you, Tasha, if you wanted to plug anything, because you already plugged it in the beginning.
I did, but I can always plug the Real Estate Diva.
You know what I mean? So,
but I'm excited to be on stage again.
Yeah.
And again, just follow me on Instagram. I'm doing a lot of great things. Look for me in 2023 on the big screen.
Come on here.
And again, follow me at Jack's Real Estate Diva on Instagram.
Yeah. So
and I will see you all December the 3rd.
What big screen?
When you meet Vicky, the First Lady.
Why she say it like that?
She don't want to tell you. She don't want to tell you. You have to watch.
The First Lady.
The First Lady.
What is that?
I don't know. I ain't never been to church before.
No, Blue listen, y'all. Blue is going to make you laugh. It's a part in there that he takes HIV and make it so funny. So you guys don't miss it.
I don't know if they're going
They gonna laugh. We laugh.
Come out, because on Sunday when everybody talking about the play, you gonna be looking like, wait, I missed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, and don't Facebook me, don't message me, because we are putting it out there. Just go and get a ticket or bring your toy.
All right, y'all. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to Jacksonville's #1 live comedy podcast. But this week, we are in the community. Make sure that you like, comment, and share on all platforms if you want to support. And make sure that you go check out this podcast on any of the podcasting platforms that consist of iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. And just remember that we are everywhere. Thank you all for but we are family as well. But we are everywhere. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have yourself a good night.
Production.